Greetings, guide bushing gurus and greenhorns. I'm Scott with GenSwiss, technical supervisor and application specialist here at GenSwiss.
I'm Bill Fletcher. I'm the Northeast Regional Sales Manager, and we're going to talk about all kinds of special assistance, I guess you would say. For
Accessories. Yeah, we're going to talk about accessories. This is going to be a little bit different live stream, a little bit different video. It's not necessarily Swiss tooling, but it's going to be things that help anybody who runs Swiss-style machines. Just nice accessories to have in and around the shop.
Gadgets and cool stuff.
Gadgets and cool stuff. So it's going to get a little bit kind of QVC-ish in here, I think, right now.
We'll try to keep the special offers to a minimum.
But yeah, these are all things that, as we've gone over in the past, we try to introduce products that are time-saving or have some kind of a good user benefit for anybody making small parts, small precision parts. So the first thing we want to show you guys today is a nice little piece of gauging equipment. This is something we introduced a couple years ago at IMTS. We had it as a little freebie giveaway. One of those kind of deals where it was like find us on LinkedIn and come by the booth and ask for it kind of thing, just to kind of test the market with it. Yeah. And it ended up being something that people really, really like.
Well, it was a bit surprising because everybody said, wow, that's really going to be helpful. I could use something like that.
So what these are, we'll bring it over into the screen here so everybody can see. These are MicroV blocks for gauging small parts. The really nice thing about these is they're covered in datum surfaces, so you can put these on a gauge plate, use them to hold small pieces, interference-free. One thing that's really difficult checking like runout or gauging surfaces or ODs on micro parts is actually fixturing it so you can check it. A lot of folks are using optics these days to check small parts, and these fit the bill perfectly for that. They come in 5 sizes, and you can see the little notch kind of knocked out of it right there. So they come in 5 sizes for small parts. Start at about a 0.5 millimeter. And what's the biggest size you do, Bill?
4 to 6 millimeters.
6 millimeters.
Largest than that. Here's a nice example of the 0.5 millimeter holding an extremely small cylindrical part. And this is where it gets nasty. When you have to handle, you've got all this Swiss equipment designed specifically to make ultra, ultra small parts. And now you've got to get a hold of them. Think of trying to work on a comparator or some kind of a visual system. I actually sold some of these to a customer, and they actually called me back in, and he said, you got to take some pictures of the stuff we're able to do with these things now on our new visual system. We could never do this before because I had no way I could get a hold of the stupid little things that we're making. And now I can get a hold of them great. And again, with all these datum surfaces that I can work with, you can position this in a multitude of ways. You can use it straight up like this. You can go on end and hold it up, using them opposing each other. You can lie the product on its side if you need to, being able to do that. Again, they're very helpful, and it's something as basic as a comparator, but they've been a monstrous hit with anybody using a new visual inspection system. Just wonderful.
Yep. I've seen a lot of our users that have Keyence machines.
Yes.
It's a really good solution for going on a Keyence machine. Not really a whole lot more else to say about it other than that, but this is one of those things where you could have some of your folks on the shop floor and you just kind of carry it around in your pocket, always have it handy. Parts are coming out of the machine, you can quickly grab this thing and go over to the QC department and check some stuff out, check threads, check ODs.
I know it's awfully difficult to do this on TV, but the spring is really strong. So that when you do put something into it, it's going to grab and hold it down. It's got a very powerful spring that'll snap that thing back in position and hold the part right down into that V configuration. And again, you have 5 different sizes to choose from. And sometimes when you're lucky, you can catch them on special where we'll have a promotion.
We did actually do that last summer.
Yeah, we did.
A little bit of a special promotion on there. Really nice problem solver to have. Another note on the springs, too. The springs are actually, the tension is gauged for the V block size. So the bigger ones have a little bit more strength to them versus the little ones. So they don't damage the workpiece that you're clamping. Right. They're not going to crush it or damage it. Unless you were maybe doing something extremely thin-walled.
Yeah.
But it's not going to clamp every single workpiece that you might be trying to check. But it's going to cover 99% of the types of things you're going to be trying to gauge.
Yeah.
So really nice little problem solver. It was a product that we came across sort of by accident at one point and said, you know what? That's another thing that fits the GenSwiss philosophy. Little problem solvers that helps manufacture small parts. Yeah. So
Very successful program for
Yep,
us.
yep. I think the next thing we'll go over to, it's another thing that saves users a whole lot of time.
Okay.
Every single machine, you have to find a way of ejecting a workpiece. And oftentimes, that requires you making your own ejection pin for the ejection mechanism in the subspindle.
Yep.
But we've gone ahead and put together kits. We'll flip this around so you can see what the kit entails. We put together ejection mechanism kits. So rather than having to turn your own ejection pin, you could start with one of these kits meant for the different diameter machines that are out there. We've got them sorted by 20 millimeter Citizen, 32 millimeter Citizen, 20 millimeter Star, 32 millimeter Star, and so on. And these are all the popular sizes that somebody might be working with on a machine like that. It's not going to solve 100% of every single ejection scenario that you might encounter, but it does get you extremely close. It gives you also a base to start from if you want to make your own. So I've actually got some users that they pick up the base unit, which is the one right here in the top left, and then they'll make their own pin that threads into the end of that, depending on what their objective is, what they're trying to do.
Basically a custom modular unit.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
And it gives them a nice repeatable setup so they can standardize a shop and everybody's using the same thing, everybody's on the same page. They are coolant through, so if you've got high pressure through your subspindle for clearing the call out of chips, these do have coolant through capability. You can actually see on this one here, there's a coolant through crosshole there, coolant through crossholes here. The really nice one is actually on the base. There's actually on the 45-degree chamfer here, there's also coolant jets. So you get jets that'll come out at angles to blow the subspindle collet free of chips for the next parting operation. So a really nice, simple problem solver that we offer. A lot of people say, well, I can make my own, but the thing is nobody pays you to do that. You're not getting paid to make ejector pins. It's where we've got these things priced at a very reasonable, affordable cost, generally less than a typical Swiss shop's machine time, not to mention having somebody who's skilled enough to set up and run that machine for one piece. So it's a really good solution. And
Why
again,
do that when you can get it really quick and move on and make some money?
That's right. That's right. And like I said, it doesn't cover everything, but it gives you a really good foundation to start from.
Yeah, it's a really nice broad program.
Nice problem solver. Yeah. Yep. Not much we can say about ejector pins, but
Not sexy, but again, necessary product line to have.
Exactly. So the next accessory, a little problem solver that I really like to tout heavily, and this is actually a really popular product for us. We've talked in previous streams when you've come in and watched us talk about other products about how important high pressure coolant is in your Swiss machines, and one of the headaches that everybody's got to deal with is getting oil from the high pressure pump, from the delivery manifold to the actual tool itself. And one thing that we've devised is kind of an all-in-one kit that includes all the different fittings that you might encounter in the machine. So we cover the PCM and utilities products that we represent, which uses G1/8 or M5s, but there's other tool holders and adapters out there that use different thread standards. Some use M6, some use M8, and again, plumbing those into your machine might be just as difficult to solve when you're trying to get from point A to point B between two different connections, whether your manifold might be a G1/8 or it might be an 1/8" NPT, and then your tool is going to have an inlet that's a different connection. This covers just about all grounds. It's sold as a kit just like this, including the wrenches, so you're able to tighten everything up and nice and snug to a leak-free fit. It comes with a length of hose that has an M6 on both ends. So this gives you the ability to engineer your own solution. So the solution that we have shown on here at the moment is probably one of the more popular ones. Here we've got an 1/8" NPT with an M6. So this would thread on one end. And then the other end of it is going to be an M5 because we're talking about utilities tools, and that's what we love here. So we've got an M5 on the other end here. And let's see. Oh, you know what? I think it came off. Yeah, the quick release came off. I was confused for a minute there.
Where's your parts?
Yeah, it was like, what's missing here? So this end's got a quick release on it. So you can see it's kind of like your typical like airline hose. And then we've got a low profile quick release. So now you can simply plumb into your high pressure feed ports on your tool or your coolant wedge or onto a collet sleeve or tool holder or whatever. And you've got just about everything you need to make that happen.
It's really great to have it in one place because there are countless times that you're going to find yourself on Wednesday morning coming in and go, oh, yes, I have to move my coolant line from position 1 to position 3. Oh, guess what? I don't have the hardware. Well, if you buy one of these kits, you'll have 90+% of anything you'd ever need. And if it's a historical change, you're going to have the right hardware on hand.
Yep.
This thing also comes with additional fittings. It might have a male or a female adapter, depending upon some of the older machines. When we first sold this kit, I was so proud. I was out taking it, and Lord, didn't I go to the one place that had an older Citizen model, and it had a male fitting. So what we immediately did was we created those fittings in-house so that we were able to take care of that as well. So this is a great kit to start to build upon for your own particular needs. The lengths of reinforced hose are also, I believe, at 102, 130 and 152.
Different lengths.
Different lengths available depending upon what you have to hook up into. Those are available. You can buy the kit with the one line in it, or what you do is you buy the standard kit with 102, and then you can supplement and start building your kit by adding the additional lengths that you might need.
Sure, yeah. It's all cross-compatible.
Yeah.
Yep. They're highly flexible, so also one of the real pains in there is like if you're coming in on your gang slide and you got to bring something down to one of your cutoff tool, for instance, and having something that's inflexible can be a real headache. These are really nice, and they're stainless reinforced, so they withstand generally the 2,000 psi that you're going to be seeing with your high pressure system.
Some really quality parts.
It's a really nice system.
Yeah,
Yep. This is a good problem solver, and then. So this is kind of what we would say is like our good solution, and then we also have a best solution. But you can mix and match and generate your own solution this way too. Here is our Utilities feed line kit from our partner Utilities out of Switzerland, and these are actually even more low profile than the other solution. So in some situations, you might need a smaller fitting to fit between the wedges on your gang plate to reach into the shanks. There's a lot of situations where you're going to have something low profile to work. This is kind of a all-in-one solution. There's all kinds of different fittings in there. There's quick release. There's 90 degree. This one here is actually one of my favorite problem solvers alone, and I'll pair this sometimes with the other kit that we just showed, but it's a nice 90 degree banjo fitting. This bottom piece here is probably only about, I would say about 5/16 across.
Yeah.
So it's really low profile. It fits into the gang slide between wedges and it doesn't interfere. And then you've got a female M5 on top that can be plumbed into real easily using any of the hose extensions that we offer. So you can DIY your own solution here. And this is one of those situations where once you get it nice and dialed in, you're not going to have to do a whole lot of switching the plumbing around for future jobs. So
some of the Swiss machines, for example, on the Stars, there's a very, very tight relationship between the gang, and there's a protective sheath of metal that goes across the face of it.
Yeah.
So there's just not a lot of room to move around in there. However, if you have a 90 degree, we can literally come up out of your holder and come straight up and not have to worry about any interference on that metal sheet that is there to protect the gang and control the flow of coolant and chips and things, but still.
I think that's the SR20. The SR20 has got a sheet metal piece, like a protective sheet metal, and when you bring your gang slide all the way over, you've got somewhere around an inch of clearance max behind that sheet metal. And if you have all these hoses coming in from all directions and they're not nice and neat, you're going to have a problem there where it's going to interfere. But this kit and this kit gives you a beautiful solution for that and makes it nice and reliable and clean, and really clean install.
The other nice thing is we're very, very proud of our delivery systems as well as our plumbing that are pieces that are available. So again, you wake up on, you come into the shop on a Wednesday morning and discover that you got to move something and you don't have what you need, pick up the phone and call us. We probably have exactly what you need right here on the shelf, ready to go. Get it to you very fast, same day shipment for all our hardware needs. Wasn't all that long ago that you'd have to go to
you'd be hunting on Grainger, McMaster-Carr, or something like
high performance auto facilities and parts, things like that.
Yeah, in some cases.
Scattered all over the place. Where am I going to find this? Where am I going to find that? It's all right here in Westfield, Massachusetts.
Yep. And everybody inside here is trained and very adept at making selections on components for you. So you'll get what you need quickly. Kind of dovetailing with that, and I don't think we've talked about these on a previous live stream. I know we've talked about them before with some of our distribution partners, that sort of thing, but on the live stream, I don't think we have. So pairing with the coolant lines are multi-deck lube coolant wedges. So this takes the plumbing installation one step further. These install into your machine's gang plate. They replace the standard wedges that comes in the machine from the factory, and the benefit here is now you've got jets in the bottom of the wedge that's compatible with any of your standard square shank turning tools. So it effectively turns your entire inventory of tooling into coolant through simply by the installation of these. And the nice thing is it's just like the kit. You can a la carte it. You don't have to necessarily go all in on every single accessory. You could try this on your cutoff position first and see what kind of performance you get. Usually that's the way that people go with these. They'll try it on the cutoff because it's one of the most demanding tools in the whole process, in the whole setup, and they'll give this a shot and see how it works. And then down the road, adapt their gang plate out with more of these. And these, again, they're all cross-compatible, not only with this system, but with the other signature line system that we also offer. So, and then these products here also fit with these products here, and you can make your own solution. So there's really not a whole lot that we can't do as far as getting oil to the cut, which is imperative.
What I always like about the wedge system is that it gives you such great flexibility. It allows you to say, okay, I'd like to do that on position 1. I'd like to put it on position 3. And then we can go from there. Sometimes you can actually move up. And once you find that successful, you might say, hey, this is awesome. I'd like to talk to you about possibly changing them all out or even replacing the whole system with a plate, which is also available. Note, the wedges are made specific to the make, model, and year of the machine. And not necessarily the wedge for position 1 is going to have the same bolt pattern on position 3.
Yeah, some machine models, the bolt pattern changes.
In determining which is the right replacement for your machine, it's always a good idea for us to have the year, make, and model to make sure that you're getting the proper fitted wedge. Another thing, as Scott had mentioned, you're now using non-coolant through sticks with a full high-pressure delivery system and a crisscross delivery of coolant and cutting fluid. You're saving money every time that you put a non-coolant through stick into one of these things, rather than having a coolant through holder, which is much more expensive than a standard. These will all, and they will accommodate virtually anyone's, because you may have a favorite holder for a particular application that you'd like to stay that way. Well, with this system, that gives you that flexibility.
Yep. I think that kind of covers everything I wanted to talk about on that. Very complete system. We'll move on to the next thing. Or as they say on QVC, but wait, there's more.
We got more. We're not done yet, folks.
So another really nice little thing that we've always had here at GenSwiss as a problem solver is a small parts finishing system. This is something that goes way back. Yeah, why don't you bring it on in? Let's bring it on in. This goes way back. It's a nice solution for deburring micro components. This is a system that you can have adjacent to the machine. As parts come out, you can run them in the system. So this is what we call our magnetic deburring system. This uses a magnetic base driven by an electric motor with a media bowl that we fill with stainless steel media, and it's driven in a magnetic field at a high RPM and creates a high energy vortex Here we go. Got it up on the screen now. Creates a high energy vortex that microparts kind of tumble and deburr very easily.
I like to call it the salmon run.
There we go.
You know, because what you can do basically is you can throw any non-magnetic part in there, and depending upon the size and the openness of the part, or there may be some cross holes and things, now you're going to pick the right media. This stuff is swirling around, and it's not just swirling around. They're actually acting each one of these tiny little media pieces, and I've got a little piece.
See if we can get it on the screen.
See if we can get it on the screen for you here.
Bring it to the camera. There we go.
Okay, these are small cylinders, and each one of these will literally act like a salmon as it swims around. And the changing of the current not only is causing them to move in a circular pattern in and out your parts, the magnetic, as it's changing, it's actually causing them to tumble and spin around.
Yeah.
So they will work their way into small openings where you want to do some deburring. It will do a minimal amount of stock removal, but it leaves a really nice, clean finish.
It's a burnish finish that it generates. Yep. And if it's a small hanging burr, microscopic burrs, chips that are still stuck on parts, it's really good for all of those kinds of applications. But again, as Bill said, has to be non-ferrous.
Yeah.
Because this thing's using magnetism to tumble the work pieces. If it's something that's like it's got any sort of magnetic property to it at all, once it's inside that magnetic field, it becomes energized, and then those pins just stick to it, and then you have these little fuzzy hedgehogs sitting in the bottom here.
You look like you got a bucket of porcupines, and it's not a nice thing.
And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. But really where it shines is brass, aluminum. It does a pretty good job burnishing and polishing up the shine and the surface finish on titanium parts, so some medical components might be a good fit. Copper, it's tremendous. It's a tremendous solution.
Yep, things like that.
Yep.
And I'll tell you straight up, it will not work well with plastics or polymers and things like that.
So that gets into another part of it. It's very hypersensitive to density. So you can't use, like another example is you can't take an aluminum part that weighs half a pound and then throw it in here.
Right.
Because it's going to bang around in there and the bowl's going to fall off. On the other hand, too, you can't go too small because then you won't be able to find the components after you tumble them. So there is a sweet spot for where this works. I did bring a couple of products over here, some applications, examples that we can bring into the camera here. These are all things that would probably be a really good fit for this kind of finishing. So we've got some titanium implants. We've got a brass fitting. We got a brass threaded part here. We've got a beryllium copper electrical connector. These are all things that would tumble perfectly well in there. And as you can see, they all share something in common. They're very lightweight parts, but they're also probably in the realm of maybe 3/8 of an inch in diameter or smaller. So you don't want to have something that's tremendously dense because it's just going to tumble around in there and you're going to get witness sparks on the chamfers and on the corners. But products like these are really the sweet spot for it. And one of the other great things we do is if you have something that you think might be a good fit for this, we run it for free.
Yeah.
Send us a bag of parts. We'll throw these through our laboratory and we'll send them back to you, and we'll do process development for this for you. So we'll send you back multiple samples of different time frames that these were run at, and then tell you exactly the settings that we had used and exactly how to duplicate those results. And maybe hopefully it'll save you a little bit of time. You know, that's another thing that we do here is try to do process development, not only in the cutting tools that we offer from utilities and those guys, but even on this solution here, we try to get it together so that when this thing hits your floor, you don't have to do any of the experimentation. We already did that for you, and you're going to be able to duplicate the results quickly.
Yeah, an industry that has fallen in love with this unit is anybody producing electronic connectors.
Electronic connectors are a perfect solution for this.
Yeah, it really, really works well, and we haven't found where there's the really, really small pieces. As we showed you earlier, some of the media, what will happen is you can actually take and control your batch sizes, put them out onto collect them, and put them on a sheet like this, and these are your magnets, and there's a way of collecting these after they come out so that you can remove the media and separate the media from your parts, so you'll end up with a nice clean sheet of parts to work with, which works extraordinarily well.
I'm glad you said that because there's a whole bunch of stuff that comes with the system. It's kitted, ready to go.
Yep.
So there's a bucket of media. There's a separator wand that essentially you take the bowl off the base, put it onto your workstation, pull the media out, remaining in the bowl, you've got your entire batch of work pieces. So everything you need. Oh, and more importantly, too, it does use a very special type of burnishing compound.
Yes.
That actually is some of the secret sauce to it because it won't work with water alone. That's the way that it generally works is you have a good half liter of water mixed with a few drops of the burnishing compound, and it almost breaks the surface tension in such a way so that the pins actually get excited and they actually tumble even more vigorously. So without the compound in there, the action isn't anywhere near as good. Right. But tremendous solution and very good for anybody making small parts, whether they're running them on a Swiss or not. It's a great way to make sure that you're getting a uniform finish across an entire batch.
There's a very specific range of liquid that you want to run with this as well. The bowls are of acrylic nature, and if you use too much of an astringent cleaner, some people have experimented with that. Works very effectively initially, but the next thing you know, you're going to look at your bowl and it's all going to, first of all, it's going to turn frosted, and then it's going to start cracking.
Just use delicate detergents and water, and that's it.
Works extremely
so it's you're not going to get a whole lot of hazardous material that you got to get rid of. There's not going to be any acetone or anything like that that you have to be concerned with.
People really love working with these units, and they come in various sizes depending on what your needs are. And
6, 9, 12-inch diameter bowls. 12 one is a
monster.
Yeah, you could definitely run a large volume of parts in that. The 6-inch one seems to cover a wide range of applications for Swiss style jobs, and depending on the part, you can run anywhere from a few dozen parts up to a few hundred parts. So it's really going to be driven by the application. But again, a nice problem solver, fits in with everything else that we talked about today.
Yep, that's for sure.
Yep.
So I think we're in good shape on that.
Yeah, I think so. Well, thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Scott. It was enjoyable. And again, we have a incredible product line, and we have things that are very specifically suited to a Swiss small precision part environment. And if there's something you need, just reach out to us, and we'll do everything we can to help you. Our job is to make your life easier. So anything we can do, just get in touch with us, and we'll have at it. So
yes.
You all set?
I'm all set.
Very nice. Okay, well, keep the coolant flowing and the chips rolling, and thank you for your time.